Hello everyone, what is up? Welcome to the very, very first episode of Sports at Night. That's right, the inaugural episode is finally here. I am your host, Todd Knight, and with me are two of my most esteemed colleagues, Jevon Superman Miller and Will Michael Strahan Trahan. See what I did there?
Yes. Yeah. Nice.
Guys, I just want to go ahead and start this off with a bang. I want your Super Bowl picks. So, Jevon, what do you got for me, brother?
First off, what's up, Bronco Nation? All right, I just want to say that first off before I even give you my Super Bowl pick because you guys are going to hate me in a minute. All right, originally I had picked the Raiders versus the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. I know, guys, y'all going to hate me for that, man. But last year the Raiders showed me promise. I thought they were going to improve in the secondary. But guess what, Bronco Nation? They did not. They suck in the secondary. They still cannot stop the pass. Teams are still able to move the ball on them, so I'm getting rid of that pick. Guess what team has improved? We have. That's right, man. Our defense still great. We can stop the run now because team hadn't been able to run on us in the preseason, and I like that. I'm loving that. I think we're going to go, man. Trevor Ready, he knows the system. He knows what we need to do, man. He's getting the ball out in 2 seconds, man. That's all we need. We can get to the Super Bowl, and we still going to have to contend with these Cowboys. Now, are we going to win? No.
And that's his unbiased opinion.
That's right. No, we will not win. We will not win because the Cowboys are stacked on offense. They have a great offense. They move the ball very well. He's on legendary. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame someday. As long as the kid keep going the way that he's going, he'll be in the Hall of Fame someday. And Ezekiel gonna come back with a vengeance. He's gonna be angry, man. This suspension is not gonna sit well on his stomach. He's gonna be eating pills and ready to go by the time he get back on the field. So. Nah, we won't be able to beat them in the Super Bowl, but we're going to get there. That's just my opinion. Boom.
I fundamentally disagree with everything you just said.
Well, you can fundamentally disagree with whatever, baby, but that's what I got. That's how I feel.
Man, people just are crowning Dak Prescott left and right. I just don't understand it. Does anybody remember what was the quarterback from Cleveland that had that one Pro Bowl year?
Derek Anderson.
Yeah. Everybody crowned him Cleveland's savior. Couldn't even win the job out from Brady Quinn. And they've been through, 20-something quarterbacks since 1998 now?
I'm gonna let Knight destroy you on this one, but I got to say one thing real quick. If you've been watching the preseason, even without Ezekiel, he's still moving the ball, man. He's still getting the ball down the field. He's making adjustments. He doesn't need a superstar running back to keep the offense moving. That's what I was waiting to see. He showed me that in that last game that they just played, man. I think he's going to do just fine without Ezekiel. It's going to hurt. Don't get me wrong, man. With a running back like that, rookie year, over 1,000 yards, man, that's going to hurt, baby. But he still can move the offense, and that's how I feel.
Agree with you that he's definitely moving the ball, but he's playing behind that same offensive line. And Darren McFadden and Alfred Morris are no slouches. Both of them were star running backs in their own esteem with Washington and Oakland.
True.
So it's not like the fall off is say what it was between Adrian Peterson when he got hurt and Jerick McKinnon or Matt Isiah.
Right.
As he's got two established guys behind him, and I think the Cowboys were smart for doing that because, as we know, Ezekiel Elliott is not a model citizen, and he never has been. He wasn't with Ohio State. At the first sign of trouble, he threw his team in Ohio State under the bus when they got beat. He just makes bad decisions. Talented player, a generational running back. I'll give you that. He runs with a head of steam, and he's just special, but he can't get out of his own way. And I'll toss it to Todd and let you give your thoughts.
There's certain aspects that I definitely agree with, or where both of you are concerned. Mm-hmm. And Zeke is one of those kind of once in a generation talents.
Yes.
Because of the fact that he just does not really have a discernible weakness or anything. Mm-hmm. He's very, very good at picking up the blitz. Mm-hmm. He's great in pass game.
Yes.
Picking up obviously, lanes. He's not afraid to run over tacklers. He's got breakaway speed, so he's got that going for him. Yeah, he gets stronger as the game goes on too. Mm-hmm. So that's something else that's to pick up.
He's a bell cow running back.
Yes, indeed.
And those are rare.
Yeah, exactly. And so much of that is predicated on how great the offensive line is, because it has the potential, at least, to go down as probably the greatest offensive line ever put together.
Very much
So even better than the one that Emmett ran behind in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, but my Super Bowl pick right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. I am a known Cowboys fan here.
Yeah.
So I will do my best not to be biased or anything like that. However, I do have to say it's going to be the Steelers and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. However, I am not picking the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. I'm actually saying the Steelers are going to win, and it's going to be 31-30. And it makes me sick to my stomach to say some stuff like that. But I do have to say it that's the way it's probably going to go down. Dallas is going to reach the Super Bowl this year because Dak has another year of experience. Mm-hmm. He's very, very, very motivated based upon everything that took place in that Packers game last year. Mm-hmm. Them coming back and almost winning that game against Aaron. I mean, it took a ridiculous play by Aaron Rodgers for them to be able to punch their ticket to play Atlanta the next week. So I'm just going to say that. And
you guys would have been a better match for Atlanta, actually.
I think so. Mm-hmm. But Steelers are going to win based on heroics by Ben Roethlisberger in the last minute of the game, not leaving Dallas enough time to be able to respond. Ben Roethlisberger, win, lose, regardless of the outcome this year, this is his last year with the Steelers.
Oh, wow.
You think he's going to retire?
I do.
He's been speaking on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been going on for the last couple of years now.
Yeah,
but,
he's been hitting.
So I just sticking kind of on the Dallas side here. Everybody continues talking about the effects of Zeke's suspension and everything. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think it's going to be reduced? What is their expected record at this point? Should the suspension stay in place? What do you think about that?
I think the Dallas Cowboys, they won't struggle as much as people think they will. Zeke was not the make or break of their offense. It all runs through Dak Prescott. And like you said, he does have another year. And if he can continue on the way that, the projection that he's going, I think that they won't miss a beat as far as the offense as a whole. Now, the running game, both Alfred Morris and Derek McFadden are brittle. So if they can stay healthy, I think they will go 3-3, maybe 4-2 in that stretch. But I gotta say, man, the Cowboys defense has me worried. They lost 3 of their 4 best DBs last year. They say defense wins championships. I mean, look at all the Super Bowl champions. What's the common denominator?
I'll put it like this: you say defense wins championship. You're absolutely right. Offense puts asses in the seats.
They do.
That's true. It's very true.
Down. That's what sells tickets. But
as
if you go down and look at history, it's proven time and time again. Defense still wins championships. You're absolutely right on that.
They do, man. I mean, hey, we wouldn't have got 50 without the defense, which we agree on. Our defense was stellar for Super Bowl 50.
For sure.
Exactly. When the Broncos went to that first championship or Super Bowl with,
it was all offense.
It was all Manning set the record, 55 touchdowns.
55 touchdowns, yeah.
Bukus of yards, but he hit that Seattle defense.
Yeah.
And he just folded.
I kind of ran into a buzzsaw on that one. I do have to ask though. I mean, just kind of to stick, stay on that. What's going to happen with Zeke's suspension though?
I think it'll stay the same. I mean, the NFL has worked tirelessly after the Ray Rice incident to improve how they handle domestic violence situations. Yeah. I mean, you look at Greg Hardy. Yeah. You look at even people who have been, Josh Brown, the Giants kicker last year. Mm-hmm. He didn't get suspended because they couldn't, but he got cut. He'll never work in the NFL again. So I think that
same goes for Ray Rice.
Right. And as pertinent as Zeke and Ray Rice are two completely different players. When Ray Rice got, the video got released, he was 30 or 29 or 30, and he had 3 yards of carry, maybe. And Zeke is.
But we still talking about a Super Bowl winning running back, though.
Yes, and I agree. Yeah. And I believe that the NFL has made, they said 6 games is the baseline. They can go up or down depending on circumstances, but they investigated this thing for a year. Okay. It's not like they made a snap judgment. They investigated ever since the report first came out, and they had private investigators and an independent panel to recommend.
Okay.
I think that 6 games will stand. I think Jerry is just the worst owner in sports. But He and the commissioner are too close, and I think the other owners don't like how Dallas gets special treatment. Because if that would have been the Patriots, whatever player that would have, Tom Brady got 4 games for deflated balls.
Yeah.
For deflated balls that was never actually tied to him.
He deflated the ball.
Zeke Elliott
baby.
hits a woman and gets only 2 more games than Tom Brady. Come on,
Well,
man.
but I think that suspension with Tom Brady came through a lot of other things that have been going on with the Patriots. Not just that one incident.
Yes.
They've been like, look, we got to get these dudes.
You got a
man,
laundry list of offenses that the Patriots have
exactly.
had over the years.
Exactly.
There's no question about that.
They had to go ahead and do something.
Do you know what team leads the league in suspensions over the past 10 years? It's Dallas. By leaps and bounds. They have had the most players suspended for the most games by a lot, whether it be drug, steroids, violence.
Ooh.
Okay.
Arrests.
I'm gonna say I'll say this in regards to that. Dallas has a lot of suspensions. The majority of them are regarding PEDs, which
Yes,
that's a whole other story
Yes, they
right
have
there.
to cheat to win, and
Right.
they still don't win.
Thank you. I love you for that. But I do want to say this though. If you look going all the way back to 2000, as far as arrests are concerned, Dallas is in the bottom third on that.
Okay.
Going back to 2000.
Okay.
You know who number 1 is?
Who?
The Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings?
The Vikings.
What else are they going to do in Minnesota?
Yeah, man, it's cold. I'll get arrested too, dude. I'll be like,
Yeah.
hey, man, I'm going to go do something.
Yeah. They're
You know
stupid.
what I mean?
Yeah.
What do they do in Minnesota, man? Anybody ever been
Ice fishing.
there? Okay.
Yes.
Or so I've heard, anyway.
Well, I know it's the last place I'm on vacation.
Yeah. I don't say, hey, I have a week of vacation coming up. I should go to Minnesota. That has
Yeah.
never been a sentence that
Hey,
I've said.
Minnesota, people from Minnesota that listen to this podcast, we're just having fun, man. We love Minnesota.
Yeah, you guys built a stadium that collapsed on itself.
Oh, God.
At least nobody was in it when it happened.
Very true.
There go our Minnesota audience.
Yeah.
All right.
my thoughts on the Ezekiel Elliott suspension, I don't feel like it's going to be reduced. I mean, as much as obviously I want it to be,
Right.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Right.
The biggest thing that I think is going to go down with that is they're going to go through the appeal hearing on Tuesday, August 29th.
Yeah.
And the reason why I don't feel like the verdict is going to change is because the same people who are making the suspension on the first place are the same people that are on the appeal board.
Yeah, so they're not going to.
Yeah, what the hell are they going to find that's different
Yeah.
in next month?
They're not going to
Right.
walk
That-
back
I mean,
with their
that's true.
decision.
Yeah,
It makes them look weak.
Exactly.
Makes them look
I mean,
weak.
why would they fold? I mean, unless somebody is paying them
Right.
to change their verdict on that.
Right.
Jerry.
I mean, that's just what I think.
Jerry
And-
do got money, though.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
look at
Jerry-
Jerry's
and he's
world.
on a warpath. There's no doubt about that.
He seen the light last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He hadn't seen that light in a while. Well, as a matter of fact, no, I take that back. He saw the light in 2014.
Yeah,
Yeah,
14.
you guys had a great season that year. But he's tired of getting a piece of the candy and not eating the whole thing. You know what I mean? And he feels like with this squad that you have right now, he can get his whole Snickers. And not just like a corner of Snickers, you know what I mean? Like he can get the whole bar. So yeah, I agree with you,
So
man.
who will Jerry Jones turn into whenever he eats the Snickers? Because he's kind of a jackass right now.
I tell you,
maybe he'll fulfill his hunger and actually turn into a competent owner,
I know, man. If he's gonna turn that Jim Irsay.
or maybe John
Ooh,
Mara.
I had to go there.
You know, the
Yeah.
Mara family.
Yeah.
Sweet tit.
I just want to go ahead and say Snickers does not endorse this show.
Yeah, they do not.
But I also have to say that as far as their expected record goes, whenever the Zeke suspension takes place, should it remain 6 games, which I think we all unanimously feel like it will, I think it's probably going to be 4-2. I'm hoping, but more realistically, I think it'll be 3-3.
3-3.
Yeah, that's about
Okay.
where I put him.
But
4-2. I still think he'll be able to do it without.
yeah, and Dallas's record is absolutely going to be impacted as to whether or not Beckham is going to be able to play on the Sunday night opener.
Ooh.
And guys, I mean that entry that he had against Cleveland last week, it begs the question, man.
Was it a dirty hit?
It was not a dirty hit.
It
but
was not. No.
No. Does the preseason need to be shortened? or does it need to be removed entirely? Will, I got to hear what you got to say on this. You being a Giants fan, I mean, it's
all right.
Real close to home for you.
You know, there's a lot of knee-jerk reactions in the media with the NFL, as with any story. I don't personally think the guy had a dirty hit, but I do think that in the preseason, players should respect other players and not go after their knees. Because, I mean, a receiver, and I was listening to somebody talk about this the other day. Why are Odell Beckham Jr.'s knees less valuable than Tom Brady's? Because if somebody would have hit Tom Brady like that, they'd have been suspended.
Yes, indeed.
Fined.
Absolutely.
15-yard penalty.
And a new rule would have got put in to make sure you can't touch Tom Brady knees again.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He
got his ACL torn. Yep.
The tuck knee rule.
The tuck knee rule. But see, and I don't understand why receivers make their living on their legs and their hands.
Right.
Quarterbacks make their living on their shoulders and their brain.
Right.
Why is a quarterback's knees more important than Odell Beckham's? And he's searching for that payday. He took out a $100 million insurance policy on himself after that injury. So I don't think that the injury is going to be severe, and I don't think that this is going to be a knee-jerk reaction and let's reduce the preseason. I think that sentiment has been going on for years, that people think that there's too many preseason games. But it's all about money.
Man.
You take away games, you're going to have to get that money somewhere else.
Money.
The NFL is driven all by finances. You know, it's all about the bottom line. So if they want to add 2 regular season games or add something else, I fully think, but I don't think that it's fair to the undrafted rookies, the 5th round, 6th round draft picks that are trying to make a team to take away their opportunities to make a team. Because do you think Victor Cruz would have turned into the man he was without 4 preseason games?
No way.
Do you remember Game 3 against the Jets when he was wearing number 8? And he balled out. Yeah. He had 2 touchdowns, 150 yards. Nobody knew who Victor Cruz was.
You learned after that, though.
The next year, he makes the team. And then, you know, the rest is history. He wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Same thing you can obviously say with, guys like Emmanuel Sanders.
For sure,
yeah. And obviously
like C.J. Anderson,
C.J. Anderson.
And even
Terrell Davis.
TD.
We're really going to go on that one.
Absolutely. I can't believe you. Tony Romo. He was an undrafted quarterback.
Tony Romo. You're right.
Undrafted.
You're right.
Good call.
And there's for every first round bust, there's that 6th, 7th round gem. I mean,
Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, I mean, they drafted Paxton Lynch in the 1st round, Siemian in the 7th, and who's the starting quarterback?
Yeah, that's right. Siemian fighting.
So you never know.
Yeah.
Baby. That's right.
Yeah.
Trevor, what's up?
Oh, man. I definitely don't feel like the preseason should be removed for a lot. The main reason that you guys already harped on. Without the preseason, there is no Romo, there is no Victor Cruz, there is no Emmanuel Sanders, or none of those guys ever make a name for themselves because they never get the opportunity to do it. But I do maybe feel like it. If anything, it could be shortened to 2 games at least.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reason why you're seeing so many of these injuries that are taking place. Especially, injuries like hamstring, groin, different things like that. A lot of these guys aren't coming into the season, and particularly if they're not in football shape.
There you go.
That's a big problem that they're running into.
That's it.
So there needs to be better off-season conditioning that's taking place, and there's got to be a certain degree of accountability that goes with that, and I think that should be shared not only amongst the players themselves, but also with the strength and conditioning coaches.
Right.
Because there needs to be a better program that is put into place so that these same guys that are going in there in these games and in these practices, most of the injuries have happened in practice.
Yeah. Right.
But
yes. I'm holding that. I'm zenning.
Oh, don't worry. You can get your time.
I know what I want to say.
Yeah, exactly. But in you and I were talking about this the other day as well. I mean, no matter what you do with these some of these training programs and stuff, you're going to have your freak injuries that happen.
Absolutely.
Teddy Bridgewater absolutely comes to
Non-contact.
mind. I mean,
Jordy Nelson,
yeah.
non-contact.
And then,
The recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just last night, non-contact injury,
Edelman.
Julian Edelman, probably out for the season with a torn ACL. We have not yet gotten the results of the MRI on that yet, but we will most definitely
Keep an eye on that story.
find out sometime today. Jevon, let us know what your thoughts are in regards to this whole preseason thing and all these injuries and stuff.
Well, if you think about the greats always stay conditioned. That's just the way it goes. You think about it. As much as it's going to make me sick to say this, Tom Brady has played this long because he does keep himself in very good shape. The brother, he I don't even know do we have many bad habits or whatever, but
Never drank a cup of coffee in his life.
see, that's what I'm saying. So the dude stays in shape. That's why he's still playing football at 40. One of my
This is tea, so I'm good.
Yeah. DeMarcus Ware, man. DeMarcus Ware used to do martial arts in the off season, man, to keep himself limber so he can be ready to go out there and play. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know,
Herschel Walker, ballet.
ballet,
Some of
yeah.
these unorthodox things, man.
And these are the guys that end up going to great heights. You know what I mean? You these are the same dudes that make history.
Yeah. Heights like Canton, Ohio.
Exactly. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't last long. One of our players just had Von Miller. Because of being with DeMarcus Ware, now he takes better care of himself. He doesn't come in heavy as he once was. Like the year that he tore his ACL, man, I think he was sitting at like 250, 260. Now he plays at about 230, 240. He keeps his weight a little lower, so he's a little faster. He can get a little lower to the ground, make better, quicker moves. That's what he learned that from D. Ware, I believe.
And it's a toned.
It's a
230
tone,
as well.
yes,
So
yes.
He
And
hasn't lost any.
not much
any of
strength
that
at all, yeah.
Acceleration off the line or anything either.
That comes from, not so much leaving it up to your strength and conditioning coach, which they have to have their own part in this too, but that's a personal choice.
For sure.
It's a personal choice, man. You are in the most highly impact sport there is, man. You're getting hit all the time. Your body's taking a beating. You got to be nice to your body, man, and your body be nice back to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're going to take hit to the leg. You can't take hits to the head anymore. But they're making it where you have to head hunt these days. Because you hit anyone from this part up, they want to call throw a flag. You know what I mean? So these guys hitting low because they have no choice. You feel me? They're making it that way.
I got you. And real quick, I'm going to say that between the years of 2011 when the Giants won the Super Bowl and to when Tom Coughlin was fired, he had the most injured team in the NFL for 3 years in a row. He had an archaic type of strength and conditioning. They fired him. They fired the strength and conditioning coach. Last year, the Giants were one of the least hurt teams in the NFL, and it showed with their defense.
Yes,
because their defense seemed like
great.
every year
It
people
great.
would go down. Jason Pierre-Paul blew his hand off on a July 4th dumbass accident.
Wow.
Came back last year, earned himself a big fat contract that he's been searching for. And that's what I'm talking about, freak accidents.
Yeah.
You're not going to know somebody's going to blow their hand off.
No, there's no way to predict that.
No.
Yeah, no way to predict that.
No. Is there any team that you feel like is going to be like a real surprise this year? Maybe not necessarily like a Cinderella story or anything like that, but anybody that's like really is going to jump off and surprise people with their record, their performance. Jevon, where you at on that?
I'm sticking with the Buccaneers because I think everybody think last year was a fluke. Everybody think what they did last year was a fluke, and I think them boys are going to come back and show them one more time that this was not a fluke. We are a contending team. We are a team that's built to contend for championships. You know what I mean? I love what's that quarterback name? Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah. I love that dude, man. That boy has that spirit. It always starts at the head of the snake and then it moves on down. I think he's the head, and all those guys are gonna fall in right behind him. So it's not a fluke. I look to see them. Who's all in there? Let's see what we're talking about. The Saints, Carolina, and who else in there?
Falcons,
yeah. Okay, they might not beat out the Falcons record, but I think they'll be right behind them. I think they're going to beat out the Saints in Carolina.
So that's a tough division.
It is a tough division.
All of a sudden,
yeah.
I mean,
very
it
much
was
so.
kind of a joke a few years ago, but they've absolutely upped the ante on.
But I mean, if you think about it, the NFC East was a joke a few years ago when whoever went 8-8 was the one who won the division. I mean, the Cowboys, Giants, and what is it? Redskins won it that year. RG3 went off.
And look at what didn't change now.
I know.
That is a very competitive division.
It is. There's no doubt about that.
Very competitive division. Will?
Yeah, Will, who you got, brother?
All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a weird pick for me, but I really, really like what the Browns did this offseason. The Browns? They have been a laughingstock for years and years and years.
Big up to Osweiler.
There's a reason for that.
Okay.
They picked up. They basically handed.
Oh God.
They got Osweiler.
But they got draft pick compensation, which is what they needed. They need to fill their team with young players.
God.
If you have almost $70 million in cap space and you need more draft picks, why wouldn't you take on a quarterback whose contract is absolutely absurd? And I just want to say with Brock Osweiler, everybody thinks that Denver dodged a bullet. They offered him a contract that was pretty big.
Well,
$35 million guaranteed.
Just let me slide in there real quick. That's Elway not letting his ego go, right?
Okay, so
Elway handpicked him, and Elway wanted to make sure that he was our starting quarterback. Well, Elway did not get what Elway wanted. Just like right now, Elway is not getting what Elway wants. Elway wants Paxton Lynch to be our man, and he's not. 6'7" quarterbacks don't necessarily make you great. You know, you're just tall. You still hold the ball too long.
Right.
You still throw it too low. That's why big old linebacker can knock it up in the air, man. You know what I mean? That doesn't make a great quarterback. That's not the prototype.
The idea is to be able to find a throwing lane, and that's. I mean, that's
look at
Drew Brees.
There you
Russell
go.
Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why. I mean, and Osweiler being 6'7", obviously he's plenty tall. What?
Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie. Okay.
Oh, man,
throwing that in there.
Flutie.
All right, but
Thanks, Josh.
Back to my Browns.
Go to the
Back
Browns,
to my
man.
Browns.
I want to hear this.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of the Cleveland. I think their ownership down through their coaches have just been a revolving door of incompetency. But I do think Hugh Jackson is the guy. He's a quarterback whisperer. And this year in the draft, I think their first 4 picks, they hit a home run with the exception of David Njoku. Don't believe he's going to be a good NFL tight end, but you can't win them all. But they signed J.C. Tretter and they signed Kevin Zeitler, both really highly touted offensive linemen. Okay. They have Joe Thomas, who's the ageless wonder, who is a perennial Pro Bowler, and I don't know if you know this, but Joe Thomas has never missed a snap in his whole NFL career. Never.
Impressive.
Not one time.
That's impressive.
Not one
Despite
snap.
being on a perennial loser like Cleveland, that man is deserving of putting on a gold
And that means
jacket
that he never
someday.
rolled an
There's
ankle.
no doubt about that.
He never broke a hand. I'm not saying he didn't break them, but he never missed time for it. But
I bet you he keeps his conditioning up in the offseason.
oh, no doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt. And so I think with that offensive line, and Deshaun Kaiser has impressed everybody.
That's what I was going to
that's
ask.
my main man right
there.
there.
You said Cleveland, I'm just like, dude, you got to justify that.
But
hell out of
okay,
that.
I don't think that it's necessarily a must. You know, Deshaun Kaiser doesn't have to do great this year, but he is leading the locker room. And I have an article right here that says that the man Joe Thomas himself has been impressed with Deshaun Kaiser's professionalism and the way that he commands a huddle.
He seemed like a good kid.
He got
Granted,
hurt.
the bar has not been set particularly
That's
high.
very true, very true. But I mean, just think about it. Hugh Jackson's a quarterback whisperer. He made Andy Dalton look like a great quarterback. He left. Andy Dalton hasn't won anything since. You know, he went to the Raiders for 1 year, and the Raiders were that dumpster fire right along with the Browns. Went there for 1 year, and he got fired for going 8-8 with a garbage team. You know, that was his only head coaching experience. So I think now what he's done, he got rid of the sideshows with Johnny Manziel and all that crap.
Yeah.
And now they got Isaiah Crowell, who I think is not a top running back in the league, but he's a bell cow. He can carry the ball 25 times a game. He's a thumper. He's a big guy, and he's low to the ground.
Certainly serviceable.
Okay.
Duke Johnson.
Well, what do you get
Yeah.
per carry? What's he averaging? Like about maybe what, like three?
I think it's more than that. I mean, he rushed for over 1,000 yards last year.
Oh, okay, well then yeah.
And he had
well,
10
then
touchdowns.
He's a reasonable
Yeah.
running back. Yeah.
And now he's got J.C. Treader from the Packers, Kevin Zeitler from the Browns, Joe Thomas, and they drafted Cameron Irving last year, who played right tackle, out of position. The guy's a guard. He's going to play guard, and then
From Florida State, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have a serviceable offensive line. And if that offensive line plays to the money that they're being paid, then Crowell will tote the rock, and Kaiser won't have to do it. Now, their defense is a work in progress.
Yeah.
But Jabril Peppers is a winner. He's just one of those guys that's around the ball. It's the same thing that people said about Tyrann Mathieu when he came out of LSU. Undersized, can't play in the NFL. And what has he done in the NFL but ball out?
Wow.
You know? And so I think they have professionals like Kenny Britt, and they brought in guys to teach the young guys how to win. And that's why I think the Browns, I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I definitely think they won't be the laughingstock that they have been for the past 15 years.
We can roll with that. All right. That made me want to kind of look at the Browns a little bit. Because of the few preseason games I've been watching, I thought they sucked. But I mean, I like the young guy though.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
There's some good to that.
Let's see.
Well, I feel like your choice is certainly a lot more ballsy than Jevon's, quite frankly.
It is. It's
and more than mine, also, actually, because I'm kind of going a little bit the same route that you're going on that. Because, Jameis Winston, he was picked number 1 overall. It was 3 years ago. Okay, yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah, him and
But everybody thought he
Yeah.
was a dud, though.
Exactly.
Everybody was writing him off.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he had a lot of character issues as well.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. But you said you going with.
I'm going with the team who drafted him, the quarterback right after that, Marcus Mariota. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans.
Woo!
Because, guys, Titans are a broken leg away last year from winning that division.
Oh,
Yeah,
There's no question about that.
absolutely. Yeah.
But Mariota's healthy now. They got a great 1-2 punch in that backfield. DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry. Yeah, I mean that is a potent offense right there that doesn't really get a lot of credit because it's not flashy.
I like it.
It's a finesse smash mouth team.
you got to
You know what I'm
look
sayn?
at their offensive line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The offensive line is very, very, very underrated.
Yes,
but
it
you
is.
look at their 2 tackles, Conklin and Taylor Lewan, number 1 pick out of Michigan a couple years ago. Also,
Wish we had him.
yeah.
And see, I wanted the Giants to draft Conklin, but the Titans traded up to number 9 with the Buccaneers and took Conklin right ahead of the Giants, which we could have definitely used him.
And also, nobody seems to really talk about this, but Delaney Walker is a hell of a tight end, man.
Yes,
I mean,
he is.
he's very, very productive. There's
Mr.
nothing
consistency.
Yeah. It's like Witten. There's nothing particularly flashy about him, but my God, does he get the job
he
done?
gets the job
Always
done.
there,
Yes.
always making plays.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's a good blocker, too.
You
He's not
took the
just
words
a-
right out of my mouth.
Exactly.
I just say he can block.
Yeah, being on the 49ers with Harbaugh, you better
know how to block. Yeah, you better
got
believe
to.
that, especially with what they were doing at that time period.
Yeah.
With the 49ers.
And I think since he played so much behind Vernon Davis, his age is not as big of a worry as, say...
doesn't have as much
Yes,
tread on the tires.
because it's just like Martellus Bennett. Bennett played behind Jason Witten for 4 years? He played
much,
behind
yeah.
Witten?
Yeah. Number 2 pick in Tennessee Titans.
Ooh, well, I can't wait to see what's our disappointing times. Yeah.
Man, I have to say this also in regards to Tennessee. They got some playmakers on defense also, man.
Jarrell Casey.
Yeah.
I love Jarrell Casey.
And
They gave us a fit a couple of years ago.
Tennessee Titans also, they picked the first receiver picked in the draft this year, number 5 overall. Corey Davis, don't know, didn't really know much about him, but the guy, I mean, from Western Michigan, he's like 6'2", 6'3", 210, so he's got tremendous size, and he's actually the NCAA's all-time career leader in receiving yards, over 5,200. So that's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Wow.
Will, did we get your Super Bowl pick? I'm sorry, man.
No, we did not.
Okay,
and
go back. I'm sorry.
And it actually is very pertinent because I picked the Patriots over the Packers 28-24, and I'll tell you why. And it's not just because I'm a huge Tom Brady fan. Tom Brady, you're the best. I think that with the injury for Edelman, we've seen it time and time again that
Stress ball.
we've seen it time and time again that with the Patriots, it's next man up. Even when Tom Brady got hurt, they won 11 games with Matt Castle, and we went on to see what he did in other places. But I think with Edelman getting hurt, Chris Hogan, they even look alike. Just step right in, Danny Amendola. They still have Brandon Cooks, and for fantasy purposes, I think Julian Edelman's injury makes Brandon Cooks a second-round wide receiver. But yes, I got the Patriots. They're just too loaded. This is the best team they've had since 2007. But I think Tom Brady, he's going to lead them, and I think Aaron Rodgers, he's got more will than any other player in the NFL. If he wants it to be done, he is the best player to say, I'm going to do this. And as a Giants fan, he put a whooping on us last year.
That's
damn Hail Mary.
Are you still? I mean, you're still keeping the Patriots as your Super Bowl pick,
Yep.
In spite of
I think
Edelman's
their
injury?
system,
because they have a losing record with Edelman not in the lineup, man.
Yes, but I think with the addition of Cooks, he'll take that slot because Edelman's been playing mostly out of the slot lately.
Mm-hmm.
Cooks will slide right in there, and it'll be.
Can you check what New England's record is real quick without Edelman?
Okay,
playing?
let me see. Oh God.
I will say though, Edelman tore his ACL at 31, and so did Tom Brady. So Edelman's just trying to be like his boy Tom Brady.
Okay. So anyway, guys, we got a team that's going to be the disappointment. I'm just gonna say this real quick. I got the Seattle Seahawks, and
Bold statement.
yeah, definitely. I know that. That's my Cleveland-esque statement right there. They're going to. They got a lot of the same pieces on defense, man. But their O-line is among the worst in the league. Last year, they were ranked 25th according to ProFootballFocus.com. And there's a lot of speculation it could be even worse this year. They lost their starting left tackle, George Fant, to a torn ACL. And they just traded for an Eagles backup tackle, Matt Tobin. So right now, he's the incumbent to protect Russell Wilson's blind side. Now, Wilson, he always seems to have some heroic moments in him. He always does.
He does.
Like him, hate him, you can't argue with that. But Seattle, with that offensive line going down and being so just inept, they're going to lose they've lost that running game now, I think. And because of that, they're going to finish 8-8.
Wow.
Will.
I think the Raiders are going to be a disappointment. They had Super Bowl aspirations last year. They lit the league on fire, starting with that win against the Saints. And I feel like from there on, they went 12-4 last year. Derek Carr just got one of the biggest contracts in history. But I think people are underplaying a broken leg for a quarterback. You know, this is something that can get into your psyche. You know, and I think Derek Carr has been compared to his brother too much because, you know, his brother was number one overall pick.
Unjustifiably.
Exactly. He's a completely different quarterback, but I think that their secondary is awful. I think that they depend too much on their pass rush when they have players like Aldon Smith, who is an idiot, as we can all agree.
Yeah. And
Khalil Mack is a force of nature. And I got to shout out my boy Justin Jellybean Ellis, their defensive tackle. He played
What up, Jellybean?
Played for
Jellybean.
Louisiana Tech, and he is 350 pounds of pure man. But I think they're getting older.
Is it because of
You
Jellybean?
know, they signed Sean Smith to be their answer.
Right,
He was a
right.
huge disappointment last year. Their their first-round draft pick, DJ Hayden, terribly disappointing. I mean, their cornerback situation is terrible in a league that's only going to pass more and more and more. And their linebackers, I'm not terribly impressed. I mean, it's been a revolving door of aging veterans that come into their linebacking core.
There you go.
And so I think with that defense, and I mean, who's their running back this year? Oh,
for the
Lynch.
Raiders.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, he gonna do
Get
great.
that.
He gonna do
I think
great.
Marshawn Lynch, as much as he's saying he feels great, what else is he going to say? You know? He took a year off. He retired for a reason. He's running behind a great offensive line.
He did pretty
Give
good
him that.
though in the preseason. He ran pretty hard.
Exactly, but he's had a year off. I think that he'll be back for 1 year. He'll realize that I made the right decision, and I think they're going to go. They may make the playoffs, but they're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm super quick. I'm going to say the same team that I've been saying, Kansas City Chiefs. Every year, everybody thinks the Chiefs going to do something, and they never do. They never live up to their expectations. You know, they got a great coach. They got a decent quarterback, but they never live up to the expectations, man. I mean, no matter what. They got a great defense. I mean, but they cannot get over that hump. And I think that they're going to do it again this year, just like they did it last year, like they did the year before that, and the year before that. It doesn't matter. It don't matter who coach them or who they get. They're not gonna go too far. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm sure I'm always pick them. By the way, whenever we do this, they're gonna get picked every time because everybody thinks that they can do great, but they never do.
And I just saw on Twitter that Spencer Ware is gonna miss 2 to 8 weeks, which is a very broad, timeline.
Yeah, very.
I think that Spencer Ware, even when he's healthy, he's not the running back that people think that he is. I think their rookie Kareem Hunt is going to be the bell cow running back. I think he's going to overtake Spencer Ware, and Spencer Ware will be relegated to backup duties just like he has for Jamal Charles and Sharkhandrick West and whoever is. I am going to talk a little bit about fantasy.
I was getting ready because fantasy football, man. A lot of drafts taking place right now.
Yes, it's that.
And you were
season.
Talking about
Kareem Hunt.
Hunt. Yeah, come on, man.
I think he's a sleeper pick. I think if it depends on how you draft. 10 to 12 teams in a league, that's your standard. Mm-hmm. And I play PPR because I think that's the only way to play. And you got your main headline guys. I mean, at running back, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, 1 and 2 in almost every draft. They're fantastic. They catch the ball. They run the ball. They score touchdowns. They play for good offenses. David Johnson is going to take all the pressure off of Carson Palmer that he did last year. We'll see how the Cardinals play. LaShawn McCoy, I think, is going to take a step back. Everybody's saying he's the number 3 running back, and that's just on reputation. I think the Bills are a dumpster fire. I want to see how Doug McDermott does. I did like McDermott when he was the defensive coordinator with Carolina.
Okay.
I wanted the Giants to hire him when they fired Coughlin, but McAdoo, you're the best. And I think McDermott's a defensive-minded coach.
Okay.
If Rex Ryan, who runs the ball 58,000 times a game, that's why LaShawn McCoy had all that value. It's because all he wanted to do was run the ball. And that's not today's NFL. He does, however, have a chance to catch a lot of passes with Sammy Watkins being traded and Jordan Matthews being hurt because Jordan Matthews fractured a bone in his chest, which I hear is very painful, as you can imagine.
I would not want to experience that.
So I would steer clear. Guys like that, Jordan Matthews has been a constant underachiever. I would steer clear him. And basically I'd steer clear anybody besides Tyrod Taylor in the Bills offense. That's just my personal feelings. I think Devontae Freeman, he's a good pick, but he does split time with Tevin Coleman. I think DeMarco Murray DeMarco Murray was a fantastic fantasy running back last year. Just like, he got drafted to Chip Kelly. Or not drafted. He got traded to Chip Kelly's offense or let go by the Cowboys because
of salary cap.
Yes,
reasons.
Salary cap.
Had to pick between
he was a cap
DeMarco
cut,
and Dez
yes.
at that point.
And so he went to Chip Kelly, and it was a complete disaster. But Chip Kelly has been a complete disaster. So I wouldn't put that on DeMarco Murray.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Everywhere that's not Oregon, basically.
Right.
Well, that's inaccurate. Everywhere that's not college.
Yes.
We'll say that.
Yeah. Let's be honest with that.
He lasted, a year and a half with the Philadelphia Eagles and then a year with San Francisco, and both of them had one of the worst records in that year. And so I think
Chip did have success in his first season with Philly, but I think that just kind of caught everybody off guard.
Yeah.
But
that
his second and his third year over there, it all just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah. But I think what he did was he just caught everybody off guard because his offense is so fast.
Yeah.
You know, they run the most plays. They may not get the most yards, but they're going to run the most plays because that's his.
Well, you know what? Just like Christmas, after you open up the presents, the thriller's gone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
That's a good point.
He was a
That-
flash in
that's
the
Chip-
pan. He was
that's
the
Chip
Wildcat
Kelly.
offense. He
Yeah.
was, the zone read. But I'm going to wrap up fantasy with this. My wide receivers in order: Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Odell, and then I think AJ Green if he can stay healthy. But it's going to be an exciting season. I also want to say I think Christian McCaffrey is going to be Rookie of the Year.
I like that pick.
I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year, and I think Jonathan Stewart will be without a job next year.
That's a possibility.
Nice.
Guys, contrary to what has all taken place so far, we do talk a little bit more about other sports than just football.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
No, okay.
But I'm sure everybody in the free world at this point has probably heard of the big basketball trade that just took place about a week ago now. But the one that's involving Isiah Thomas going to the Cavs and Kyrie Irving going to the Celtics. Who wins this trade? Jevon.
Okay.
I'm going to start with you on that.
My man just came with some controversial news.
Yes, I actually need to elaborate on this before we
Yes,
Before we
yes,
get
go
into it,
ahead,
he
go ahead.
found some stuff out.
So-
Then I'll come back to you on that. Will is a
diehard
Celtics fan.
Yeah.
I bleed green when it's the NBA season. And ESPN's wizard of the NBA, Adrian Wojnarowski, tweeted out last night that Cleveland is thinking about voiding the trade with the Celtics because of Isiah Thomas's hip. Apparently, the injury is a lot worse than people thought.
Yeah.
And the two
Wow.
the two teams are meeting today.
Shocking news.
Two teams are meeting today to talk more. I think that both bridges on both sides have been burned. Isiah Thomas played a playoff game 2 days after his sister was killed in a car wreck. He chipped his tooth, lost it 3 times in one game, kept falling out, played through it, scored 53 points in a playoff game, and I love everything Isiah Thomas is all about. And there was a thing saying that teammates didn't like him, but every teammate that he's ever had came out and said that was a bullshit report. So,
Fair enough.
Fox Sports, watch what you say. And I really, really like Kyrie Irving. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but they're basically trading a point guard who doesn't play defense for a point guard who doesn't play defense. The only thing they're trading is about 6 inches of height. That's it.
Well, I got something for you, Celtic fan. I think that you guys are definitely winning in this regard because I think Kyrie Irving is a leader. I think he's more of a leader than Isiah Thomas. I think, I was listening to Skip Bayless say, every team look for that it factor. Everybody want their Michael Jordan. Everybody want their Magic Johnson. Everybody want that great player that can lead their locker room. And I do believe Kyrie Irving is that one player that can lead your locker room because I think he has it in him. I think it's in him, man. He's right. I mean, like when he's over there at Cleveland, you can see that urge to want to just take over when he was over there with Cleveland.
Yeah.
And he would. Whenever LeBron James would be stinking up the joint, guess who had to pick up the pieces? Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? They would have got blown out several times against the Warriors if it wasn't for Kyrie Irving.
And you see what the Cleveland Cavaliers did when Kyrie Irving broke his knee. They got destroyed.
They got destroyed.
They got
Exactly,
destroyed
man.
with the Kevin Durant-less Golden State Warriors.
I think he's going to lead you guys locker room.
I really hope,
I
and
think
I
he will
hope that this trade is not voided because it's just bad. That's bad blood now because Isiah Thomas feels betrayed like anybody does.
Yeah.
Jay Crowder plays with a chip on his shoulder at all times.
Right.
And whoever he's pissed off at, I don't want to be that person.
You don't want to catch
That guy is scary. But I think that Kyrie Irving, I think that the Celtics are going to have to sweeten the pot, maybe another first-round pick, not the Lakers pick, but maybe their own pick or a couple of second-rounders. I think this deal will get done. I think that the Celtics have set themselves up for a future because Isiah Thomas is 28. He'll turn 29 soon.
Yes.
And Kyrie Irving's only 25. People forget that. He's only 25 years old.
Massive ball.
And reports are that he wants to re-sign in Boston.
Right on.
But I have something for you that you might find interesting.
Okay.
All right? On August 24th, which was two nights ago,
Okay.
Cleveland Indians had the day in Cleveland Indians history. This guy, on August 24th of 1919, Indians pitcher Ray Caldwell was struck by lightning with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And the Indians were leading the Athletics 2-1. Okay? Caldwell was knocked unconscious, then revived, and then went on to retire Joe Dugan on a ground ball to end the game.
Are you kidding?
He did not get off the pitcher's mound. He passed out on the pitcher's mound. He was revived on the pitcher's mound.
Outstanding.
And he won the game on the pitcher's mound.
Story of the day right there, man.
Doggone right, man.
That is awesome.
They don't make men like they used to.
No. We got a guy missing games for turf toe. This guy got struck by lightning. He didn't come out of the game.
That's amazing.
I get struck by lightning. I ain't driving home.
Guys.
Going to the hospital. Yeah, you better believe it.
Oh, man.
Mr. Knight.
Guys, I'm just going to say this just really, really quick. The trade benefactors, as far as the Celtics and Cavs go, I think that depends on the timeline that you go off of.
Right.
All right. Short term, I think it would benefit the Cavs because Isiah is as great as he is. He's an overachiever. He's undersized. I mean, there's a significant height difference between he and Kyrie. But he has a huge heart and he's extremely mentally tough. You just talked about the tooth incident. 3 times on the court, his having to play following his sister's death so closely. Then you have Crowder, who quite frankly plays pissed off.
All the time.
He's a solid defender on the wing, very respectable 3-point shooter.
Yes.
And one of the best
well.
bargain contracts in the NBA.
Exactly. And y'all, I'm gonna just say this, man. They got that top 5 pick, presumably, from the Nets. Cavs are going to get blown up after this year, man.
You think
LeBron's going to leave? Yeah, I do.
He's going to the Lakers?
Yeah. I think that's a good possibility.
LA! That's my team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long term, this benefits the Celtics greatly.
I think so, too.
Kyrie, talent-wise, is better than Isiah. Brad Stevens and his every team that he runs, it allows a point guard to flourish. So there's that. Plus, you got Gordon Hayward coming over, reuniting with his coach from Butler. He's going to take his game to the next level. Celtics will control the East for at least the next 5 years. You heard it here first on Sports at Night. Real fans, real talk. Todd Knight signing off with my colleagues Jevon Miller and Will Trahan. We'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.
Take care, baby.
Go Celtics.